Hey folks, this is Brian Foreman with Campbell University Center for Church and Community, and it is with a great deal of pleasure that I get to introduce you to my friend, whom I have known for 20 years, a long time,
Long time.
the Reverend Jeremy Hyde, who is pastor at Mission Church in Locust, North Carolina, which is down towards Charlotte and Stanley County. You've been there since 2008, lead
Mhm.
pastor since 2011.
Right.
Man. All right, Jeremy, you know how
Yeah.
this works. Tell me something good going on in ministry.
Well, I think in spite of all the challenges that 2020 has delivered for all of us everywhere, regardless of size, style, anything like that, probably one of the good things for us is we're going to enter 2021 with more of a focus in terms of how we think we can leverage the online presence in terms of our church. Um, Obviously, with the numbers staying high, people are going to be disconnecting themselves from crowds for the foreseeable future, and so we want to increase our ability to connect with people virtually. So sometime in 2021, hopefully within the first quarter, we're actually going to move from just streaming the service to then having what we're going to call an online campus that will have somebody operating a chat platform, a pastoral presence if people have questions or want to interact or have a prayer request or just need to speak with somebody. So we'll have a host, we'll have a pastoral presence, because one of the things that in my reading and our leadership's reading is there's a lot of people that their introduction to your church is online, and the physical visiting of your campus is step two instead of step one.
Yeah.
So we want to make a concerted effort to bridge that gap. When the shutdown was ordered in March, we made a decision then that we put all of our eggs in the online service. We didn't do outside, we didn't do parking lot. We felt like our presentation, for sake of a better word, the quality that we were able to have on that broadcast was much better utilizing the equipment that we had in the sanctuary in terms of sound quality, video quality. Um, that's not saying that there was anything wrong with doing parking lot or outside. That just was not the choice that we felt like we needed to make, and we see that as being a very beneficial move in terms of how it's helped us have a clear picture of what we want to do online going forward. Also, that's going to look at we are going to look at moving some of our discipling opportunities into an online mode as well. So many people are looking at on-demand options nowadays versus a set time and a set place. Upload some discipleship basics, whether it's somebody else produced or we self-produce, and they can watch them, whenever it's convenient for them, middle of the day, late in the evening, early in the morning, whatever. And then maybe try to figure out how to get some people to interact somewhat virtually over a Zoom or a Google Meet or something like that. So those are probably two things that have been really good for us this year.
So can you imagine 10 years ago somebody saying you're going to start an online campus?
No. Let's see, 10 years ago, did we have an updated website, and was it a website that was functional,
Right.
versus just a online brochure? That was probably the conversations we were having 10 years ago. We might not even have been doing anything social media wise 10 years ago.
Wow. Happens fast, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. And I feel like I'm playing catch up in ways that I haven't felt in a very long time. Some of the technology has passed me by.
Let me make it worse
I hate
for
to
you.
say, do what?
Let me make it worse for you. I got an invitation just today for
Mhm,
an event that a virtual event that I have to attend later this month. And it's
mhm.
going to be on a platform called Gather.town. Now, in full transparency, I, I've never used Gather.town. I don't know anything about the platform, and they're not sponsors of this particular video cast, right?
Okay.
literally just checked it out, and it is built as if you are attending a conference, and you have to make your little avatar walk the floor from event to event, right? And as your avatar, it looks like an old video game, kind of like a 32-bit video game in a lot of ways. And as your avatar is walking the hall, say from the plenary session to workshop one,
Uh-huh.
you're going to pass other people's avatars, and their names are going to pop up over their head, and their picture is going to show up kind of like it does on a Zoom call at the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
It's that way, if you bump into somebody at a conference in the hallway, they're simulating it online.
Wow.
It is crazy. And so it's like, man, people are maybe out of necessity are starting
Mhm.
to figure some of this out.
Mhm.
And you talk about disruptive, it could be disruptive to churches, the way we do worship. It could be, or church in general. It can be disruptive for conferences and continuing ed, all of those things, to
Yeah.
colleges and universities.
Mhm.
But because it's replicating that one thing you can't get, which is in person, sort of serendipitous bumping into them.
Right.
They're trying to figure out a way to make that happen.
Mhm. Hmm.
Flip side of that is going online. I bet your audience is changing as well as a church.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I think how it's changing is still evolving.
Mhm.
We've seen people that we thought would be at mission for the foreseeable future not come back, and we've seen new people. Even in the middle of a pandemic, seeing new people come in, and they're coming from wide ranges, from growing up in church to being somewhat disconnected from church. We've gotten letters from people who I've never met. I don't even recognize their name. Have been tuning into us online,
Mhm.
um, and they may send a small donation and say thank you for for providing or doing what you're doing. And again, without a way to really know who it is, we don't know their age. We don't know if they're local. We don't know if they're tuning in from another state. We've got a lady in our church. Her dad's a pastor in Trinidad, and they were on hard shutdowns, and so his whole family celebrated Easter with us
Mhm.
by tuning into our live stream, because they weren't even able to go and live stream anything. They didn't have that capability. So it's amazing the connectivity that's coming. Our financial secretary, uh, she does not go to mission. She goes to another church. They're connecting with people in Maryland. They're connecting with people in Indiana, um, and they're making those regular connections with their streaming services every single week. So it really does change how you think about ministry and outreach, and I think we're all probably playing catch up. Um, if there's one positive that I see from all this, is that it's probably accelerated some of the changes ministry has needed to make
Mhm.
going on 5 to 10 years, and it's made us do it a lot quicker because we've had to.
Yeah, necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm curious, do you think you all will continue to invest in the digital platform even once sort of uh, whatever post-pandemic looks like?
I don't see any reason why we won't
Yeah.
at this point, because I see the digital medium and digital platform as something that can be an important part of what we're doing way into the future, because it just seems like so much has moved that direction, and has been for some time now. Um, so at least right now, I don't see us backing off of that once we can have large crowds again,
Yeah.
whenever that is. But I don't see us moving away from that.
Jeremy, has there been a moment during all of this when you've sat there as pastor, or maybe just as human being,
Mhm.
and thought, this is a blessing I wouldn't have received if we weren't in the middle of this weird, chaotic craziness? Maybe just a simple, even just a simple, blessing that you sit there and go, oh, wow, I might not have experienced that otherwise.
It was an email I got from a parent whose 7 or 8 year old daughter prayed to receive Christ while watching our live stream in their living room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Family that had been attending, or
Yeah, they had been attending, but they were a family that had taken the more cautious route, have not been around crowds.
mm,
That's just that's the decision they made for this, for their family.
mhm.
But obviously, they've been faithful to tune in every single week, and literally, it was like an hour after the service that I had that email, and it made all the pushback from those that didn't like the way we reopened, or that didn't like some of the directions that we were going in, because everybody's got their opinions. It made all of that worthwhile, because yeah, it'd have been great if she prayed to receive Christ at home, but I mean at church, but doing it at home and then having somebody reach out and say, hey, I wanted to share this with you. Man, that absolutely made everything
Mhm.
that we've been up against worth it. And there may be others that have prayed to receive Christ, and they just haven't reached out.
Yeah. What a powerful symbol to make that commitment at home,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
You became a Christian inside the walls of your own house.
Yeah.
This isn't something that just happens at church.
Hmm.
This is our family. This is us. Sorry, NBC. We're also
Yeah.
not receiving any sponsorship dollars for NBC.
Yeah.
but but I mean, what a powerful story that child will always have,
Yeah.
as a result of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And there's one other thing that I want to interject,
sure.
because I know we're going to be running short on time. I also think that we have been forced to rethink how personal ministry needs to be going forward. And
Mhm.
and what I mean by that is, um, and I haven't done a great job of this, during the pandemic, but just reaching out to people you haven't seen, reaching out to people, and not just doing a Facebook Messenger or a text message, but actually picking up the phone
Mhm.
and calling somebody, and saying, "Hey, you've been on my mind," and being, personal again, because that you can lose that in the digital age, and so really trying to figure out how you leverage the digital age, but not lose the personal touch.
And that's good. That's really good. I mean, it's such a simple reminder,
Mhm.
but we're craving for connectivity at a personal level, and yet we're now trained to use the tools that don't necessarily facilitate the personal contact, but instead put up I wait on three dots to see if somebody is responding to my text. Well, why didn't I just call
Yeah,
them?
yeah, yeah.
I've got a friend who's going to do a video, one of these videos for me in a few weeks, and he's got a three text rule. And
Okay.
that is that if the exchange requires a third text, the
Hmm.
phone's going to ring, because he uses his text messaging to facilitate the need for a phone call, not to
Hmm.
actually have the conversation.
That's
I
good.
just thought that's really cool.
It is.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Good for him.
yeah. Absolutely.
And to be honest, when we connected on the phone call, it was good to hear his voice.
Hmm.
It was so much better than just the text,
Right.
right? And so
Yeah,
we got to do a better job of that.
we do.
Well, Jeremy, you guys are rocking and rolling down there. You reopened with all kinds of safety protocols in place, and all the things to try to keep people safe. Because as you said, you had a responsibility to a congregation, and you
Hmm.
got your shins kicked by people on one side of the aisle, and you got your shins kicked by people on the other side of the aisle, which just seems to be the norm for 2020 in our
Yeah,
world these days.
that's exactly right. I've been limping for several weeks now. That bruise it's almost gone.
But but man, when you get an email like the one you got, um, and when you know you're doing ministry in the way that God called you to do, it is beyond good stuff. It is holy work. It is meaningful work, and I am proud to call you friend, and
Same here.
know that there's a place down in Locust, North Carolina, that is living the gospel in ways that challenge all of us to do, as well. So I thank you for who you are and what you do, Jeremy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. I've been good to catch up with you.
And then I have one last question for you, which is probably the
Okay.
most important of the bunch. Are
Okay.
are the sticks still in the back of the car, ready to go hit some balls on a moment's notice?
They're actually in the garage. Yeah, and ready at a moment's notice. Yes. Am I able to drop it at a moment's notice and go? Not so much.
Well, I promise you, we're gonna find a time to go see what we can do, and I'll watch you hit it straight, and you can watch me demonstrate the worst parts of my personality when I can't find my ball.
It is the great equalizer.
All right,
Yeah,
my friend. Thank you for spending time with me today.
absolutely. Same. Thank you. I appreciate the invitation to be a part of this. Look forward to hearing what other people have to say.
Yeah, but we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good.